My favourite part. My favourite part of the Jamboree was meeting the amount of people I met. With 40,000 people to choose from, you made some pretty good friends who were pretty similar to you. I think that's it.
My favourite part had to be going to the beach in Portugal. It was amazing because they're just not like beaches here.
My favourite part was just the whole Jamboree experience, like seeing all these people from different countries and just how friendly everyone was.
And what was your favourite activity that you did in the main Jamboree?
My favourite activity at the main Jamboree was probably Dream. It got us thinking about what our lives were like and how different they could be.
My favourite activity was probably Cultural Day because you got to learn other countries' cultures and lifestyles.
My favourite activity was Quest. It was like physical and it's like great team activity and where you could just play all these games and it's great fun.
And we spent 3 weeks there.
We spent 3 or 4 days in Copenhagen, 10 days at the Jamboree and 4 or 5 days at our home hospitality. So 3 weeks in total.
What was your favourite part of Copenhagen? I know Sweden was the main
Well,
Jamboree.
Copenhagen was one of the best parts of the overall experience for me. I would say the best part was the speedboat rides. We weren't expecting them in the slightest, and when we got there, they were just exhilarating.
And was that with the whole of the UK or just
There was
you?
all the UK scouts had a go at doing that with 4,000 of them.
My favourite part had to be Discover Copenhagen because it just gave us a chance to go and do what we wanted and find out more about the city.
My favourite part was probably the UK party. Like everyone there just like having a party, having fun.
And out of all the countries that you went to, which one was your favourite?
The thing with the actual Jamboree is it could have been in any country. I mean, there were a few things that were Swedish, but it's more isolated than anything. So I think my favourite country was probably Denmark and Copenhagen. Brilliant.
My favourite country probably had to be Portugal because the weather was just amazing and we really got to meet the scouts that we were staying with and get to know them.
Yeah, as Tom said, Sweden wasn't it? You can't exactly class Sweden as a country at the point because we weren't exactly learning much about the Sweden. It was whole the Jamboree in the world, so it'd probably be like Finland because it was like quite personal to me and like going off on my own.
And you mentioned that, well, I know that there were a lot more people in Sweden in that village than normal because there was about 300 normally.
Yeah, well, the actual Jamboree site, if you class it as a town, was the 4th or 5th biggest town in Sweden at the time of it running. So it was absolutely massive.
Quite amazing.
Yeah,
People there.
the amount of logistics that went into doing it, and simply having enough food per day for each participant or toilets was difficult enough.
Yeah.
And you've got anything else about your experience?
No, it was just massive. Recommend it to everyone.
Yeah, it's something that will stick with us for the rest
once
of
in a
our lives.
lifetime
It is
experience.
definitely once in a lifetime. We think about it every day. You just remember little bits that make you laugh and smile. So anybody watching this, I'd recommend that you get involved and find out how you can go to the World Scout Jamboree.
Yep, definitely.
Did you get any qualifications or any new badges whilst you were out there?
We didn't really earn much that comes under the normal scouting badges, but there were lots of things going on that you could earn. There was a friendship badge where you had to go and find a new person from another country and do a series of activities with them across the site.
Well, you learnt more like general like skills, like just
Life skills.
Life skills,
life
of meeting
skills.
new people. You didn't necessarily know their rules of their country, their cultures, or the language they spoke, but you still had to interact and get on with the task.
And did you find that most people were sort of interactive, and even though you were English,
Well, yeah,
languages were...
it was one of the most friendly places I think I've ever been to. I mean, every night, Trinidad and Tobago got the old steel drums out, and everyone was having a sing-along, and I think everybody just wanted to meet everybody.
Yeah, everyone was in the same boat. To say, like, everyone needed to just make new friends.
The way people would just come up to you, like ask to swap a badge, and then just start a conversation.
Where are you from? And
Yeah, where are you from? And then just be like completely different to like if you're walking the street just in England, no one's really just...
yeah, it was very weird coming back to because you just wanted to say hello to everybody in the streets, but you couldn't really.
because it'd be a bit weird.
Yeah.
And with that many people there, was it comfortable sleeping at night?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, the site sort of went into lockdown at night, so you couldn't really leave your unit areas, or security would stop you from going to the toilet and that. But if you mean in terms of safety, it was definitely a safe place. Nothing went missing really.
Yeah, you stayed on your site once.
Yeah.
Like as soon as there's a cut-off time, about 10, 11, everyone went back to their tents and
It
just stay quiet, and then everyone slowly went to bed. And
was very nice to know that you're camping with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Were you camping in just UK, or were you
You
camping
get-
with other?
Well, you get put into your units in England that you camp in your little area with, but you'd have sort of a unit of English. Next door would be a unit of Swedish or Portuguese.
Yeah.
Or something, you know.
Each site was separated into about 20 square metres worth, and then you
Yeah.
had 6 tents, a dining shelter, and
in another like
that was your living space.
other
really.
countries around you with different style tents to yours, and
Yeah, because
some like Swedish had like teepees, and German had these big black tents, and they were just all around us, different countries.
Did you do your own catering whilst you were there as well?
yeah, so basically every morning two of you go to the shop, which is pretty much the size of a normal supermarket, only in a tent. You have a cookbook with set meals in, and you can buy everything for that meal in the shop. So you'd go and you buy your stuff for the day, take it back and put it in your cool boxes, and then you cook whatever you have on a double gas ring each day, one gas ring per 11 people. Sort of delegate cooking, washing up, that thing between
Yeah.
the patrols.
Or between, I don't know what Tom did, but if he cooked in his patrols, but what we did like a patrol cooking, planning to do for everyone's dinner, everyone's lunch, everyone's breakfast, and did it that way, and just everyone sort of worked together, getting everything ready for everyone else.
Yeah.
That's quite good food as well then.
Yeah.
Times.
Yeah, you could at times, yeah.
Sometimes it was a bit burnt.
Just
Yeah.
standard
Some-
things you'll find in a Swedish supermarket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like everyone's thinking about their the way they do sausages and stuff like
Yeah.
that, basic camping English food, but sometimes it didn't go too well.
Did you try any of their food as well whilst you were there?
Well, yeah, on Cultural Day, each country sort of gave out a sample of their food. We had scones, I don't know what Alex had, but
Oast cakes.
oat cake. And each country would do something specific then. Some other English people did fish and chips, or Spanish did paella, or something like that. So,
Irish did Irish stew.
yeah.
There was everything that day.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also there was tents set up with sort of a small restaurant that gives that sort of
We could-
typical food. The English
We could
people had a
spend some
big
money
old-
and
Yeah, you had a big old castle for the English lot doing fry up, that sort of thing.
Victoria sponge.
Yeah.
And you mentioned in your presentation that Bear Grylls was there. Did you ever get to meet him personally?
Well, we actually, Dan and I got selected to meet him about a year before the Jamboree at the Kent Scouts barn. So
But
guiding-
at the
guiding
Jamboree,
around.
it was quite busy, so
He
I
was
don't think
shooting
he
around
was,
the Jamboree a lot.
so we didn't actually see
we
him.
caught a glimpse of him. But
I met the King of Sweden.
yeah, we met the
Yeah.
King of Sweden. We
Yeah,
sort of
I
turned
did.
up in a tent while we were
Yeah.
carrying things in. And I was like, is that the King of Sweden?
Yep. Well, with the food wise, like we spent the night at the Thailand Scout hut or Scout little area, and they cooked us food and like they gave us food, and it was really
Yeah.
nice. And just the way their interpretation of how they've managed to use the same food that we could get and to how make it their own, and like they brought some spices along and stuff like that.
One night the Jamboree actually put on a thing where one patrol would cook a starter, one would do a main, one would do a pudding, and one would host. You sort of go around you have to go to a different country. You have 4 separate patrols from different countries, eating together, each one doing something else. So Dan and I actually ended up with the Chinese. So we had
And
like
Slovenians.
yeah, so we had sort of like a civilian starter, an English pudding, and a Chinese rice main, which is quite nice. Right.
Yeah, that's right.